Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hard Nine podcast. Today is July 31st. The trade deadline is passed. The Cardinals sit 5 games out of the Central. They sit 1.5 out of the wild card, 56 and 52, just coming off taking 2 or 3 from the hapless Texas Rangers, who you said was dead weeks ago. How are we feeling?
Well, one, I'm feeling like the Rangers should have sold, and they're what, like I said, stupid for not doing so because they have zero chance of making the playoffs. Um, but yeah, I feel pretty good. I mean, we coming after that Brave series, they had played some uninspiring baseball, I guess you could say. Not looking great, looking like a tailspin was heading their way. And who better to make sure that doesn't happen than Tommy Pham?
Got the old 29 up here. Now it's not Chris Carpenter, but we do remember 2011 Chris Carpenter heroics, correct? So who says to 2024 number 29 Tommy Pham heroics cannot go ahead and do that this year? What an awesome scene with the grand slam last night. Comes back out, gets a few hits today. His OPS, in case you were wondering, is a nice, cool 2000.
Yeah. I what can he? The next question is, can he sustain that?
I would
I
assume yes.
Yeah. So there was an interesting thing Tim McKernan was talking about today about teams like that we remember that had some that brought in veterans that most people thought were on the twilight back nine of their career, that ended up making big differences in playoff pushes. Will Clark, Larry Walker, obviously Albert Pujols. Like this happened, Jose Quintana, John Lester. Like we have a lot of people that have done this. Tommy Pham could be the next in line for Cardinal veteran coming in. To push you to the playoffs, and I hope so.
Absolutely. Look, let's get to the deadline first. Especially with the Cardinals. Just a little bit about Pham. Obviously, the Cardinals land Fedde, Erick Fedde, which we'll talk about here in a minute. They land Tommy Pham, mainly because that right-handed bat on the year coming in 848 versus left-handed pitching. The Cardinals were 29th versus left-handed pitching. It wasn't a secret. We all knew they needed a right-handed hitter. I wanted Brent Rooker, knew it wasn't going to happen. So getting Tommy Pham, a guy that you and I talked about at the beginning of the year, wanting out of spring training. Tommy Pham wanted to be on the team in spring training. They went Dylan Carlson another route with that. Ended up Victor Scott making the roster, but like you had said earlier, it's probably that's definitely a Dylan Carlson move instead of a Victor Scott move. Either way, weird not to like take Tommy Pham up on it. Hey, we love people who want to be here.
Yeah, yeah. It also I thought it was interesting that he wanted to be here because I just didn't think like when Tommy Pham left, it was not a smooth ending to his time here. I wouldn't say. I didn't think he'd ever be back. Like him and Lance Lynn, two guys I never thought I'd see in Cardinal uniforms again. They're both back. I think we probably need to like get into the trade because obviously we haven't talked since then because it's a very interesting trade. I think they showed a lot of faith in Michael Siani when they traded Tommy Edman. And Mason Wynn, which obviously they should have a bunch of faith in Mason Wynn. But I think that they're betting on a combination of Pham and Siani to be able to make up the offensive composition of Tommy Edman, which I think they can do most of because Siani's actually been pretty good against righties this year, and Pham's obviously really good against lefties. And the defense, Siani's head and shoulders above everybody else. But we lost a couple special players to this organization with Edman and Carlson. But that's a great trade. I think it might be the best trade anyone made this deadline, honestly.
I mean, it's got to be up there when you look at and we can get to some of those deals later from around the league. When you look at the price of a lot of guys, like we had talked earlier, it was going to be a seller's market, no doubt about it. And when you saw the Padres give up 3 of their top 6 prospects for 2 relievers, like we knew that. And obviously then you have the Cardinal fans screaming to trade Helsley. We talked about on here, would it have made sense like logically from a organizational standpoint? Potentially, they weren't
No,
going to do it. It didn't matter. Like it legitimately didn't matter what people were yelling about. It
trying to
wasn't going to
win.
happen. Um, Tommy, thank you so much for everything he's done here. But isn't it wild to you that Mo pulled off like trading a guy? And I hope Tommy. I think Tommy's going to be great in L.A. Let me say
He's a
that
really
right
good
now.
fit.
I think he's going to be really, really good in L.A.
Yeah, he
Like
will.
he's from the West Coast. The Dodgers have a. I mean, the Dodgers will play him everywhere. Like they're going to play him every single place they can, and I think he'll do really well there. And I wish him good luck. But to think that we got Fedde and like we addressed 2 massive needs,
Mhm.
with Tommy Edman, a guy who hadn't had one at bat all year, it's kind of hard to think that Mo pulled that one off.
Yeah, I think they fleeced the White Sox, if I'm being 100% honest. They didn't send one player to the Chicago White Sox for, like, I know that Erick Fedde has for a while, he's going to have well, what was he before Korea? And is this real? He's going to have to honestly do this for another year. And then people will start believing probably that he's figured something out. Whether that's fair or not, that's just the reality of it. But Erick Fedde has the same F war as Corbin Burns. He's like a top 15 pitcher in baseball by every metric you can look at. No, he's not going to strike out everybody, and he's not going to give you the Jacob deGrom eye-popping strikeout numbers. But he's really good, and every single metric seems to back up the fact that he's pretty good. Like he has a 3.1 ERA in front of the worst defense ever
Right.
created.
That's
Maybe
what I was going to say. Like you put
like
him in front of this defense, could get even better.
is he the second best pitcher traded at this deadline? I
Who
don't
are
even know
you?
if it's arguable.
Who are you saying is the first?
I think Jack's the best just because
Okay.
based on what he's done
Okay.
this year. I don't think anyone's even close to him.
Well, I guess it just depends on where you put Estevez and you put Tanner Scott.
I'm talking starting pitching.
You're talking starter. Then yes, absolutely he
Yeah.
is.
So you got the second best starter available for a guy who hasn't given you anything this year. And I love Tommy. He's a great player. I hope his wrist is healthy and he goes on to do great things with the Dodgers and loses to the Cardinals. But I like Tommy Edman, as much as I love him, not a sure thing this year to come back and produce. How much have we talked about that? Like, what can you rely on? And you gave up one 17-year-old prospect that, from what I've read online from people I trust with prospects, they don't even know anything about him. Like, he's too young to even have an idea. That's crazy. Now you saw White Sox fans saying we're gonna get Walker and Cesar Prieto, and no, that's stupid. But like you gave up nothing for this guy, and like look at what Yusei Kikuchi, who like is a number 4, probably number 5, and he has some strikeout stuff. But they gave up Loperfido and Blas, I think is his name, and some guys that are really good prospects gone for a rental. We got Fedde, who not only is a good move if that was a rental that they got for the price they paid, he's $7.5 million is all he's making next year in your rotation.
Yeah,
That's
I
what's coming.
agree. One thing we do know is the 17-year-old we traded will be in the Dodgers rotation in 3 years and probably in the All-Star game in 5. And then we do know the Cardinals Twitter will explode on how in the hell could Mo trade him for Erick Fedde. That's what we know will happen.
Yeah.
But either way, for now, smart move, good move. You talked a little bit about the Michael Siani thing. Per our guy Bernie, 320 since June 12th. That a little bit surprising to you?
No, I mean it seems like, I mean, yeah, that number is a lot higher, I would have guessed.
Yeah, for me it was.
I would probably set around the 260, 270 range would have been my guess. But he's taking good at bats. Like there are definitely times that we've talked about this where he's just overpowered and has no chance. There are times, especially against late inning relievers who just, will blow most people away. They're going to blow him away for sure. But as a whole, he puts up good at bats, man. He does his job today. He had I think it was a safety squeeze because I don't think the runner broke from third, but put down a bunt. Had an infield single early later on. Like he's doing a good job and serviceable enough to where you put his glove out there. And the way I kind of like to look at it is, I know for a fact, basically most games, Siani's probably going to save me a run, probably, like, or at least play a part in keeping a run off the board. I don't know that whoever you put ninth in the order is going to give me a run. Like, I don't know that from an offensive standpoint. So if that guy's going to be out there, he's saving me a run. That's the same as someone giving me a run. So I'm putting him out there every time for now.
Before we get to the second trade, let's talk a little bit about the rotation moving forward. And we'll get to Michael McGreevy in a little bit because I think we owe him his flowers today.
Yeah.
For sure. He deserves those. What do we know about Lance Lynn outside of the fact that he pitched great yesterday, but now are we a little nervous about his knee? What do we think happens with the rotation moving forward?
I've got a couple thoughts on Lynn. One, love the fact that he knew he was injured and he went out there and still pitched yesterday.
Yes.
I love that. Like, I understand if you're young, like let's say that was Garrett Crochet, there is no reason for him to go out there and pitch, right? If you're on a bad team, you're looking to get a big contract extension or whatever in the offseason, no reason. Like, I would understand 100% if Lance Lynn even said, I'm not pitching today. I'm hurt. I don't want to get hurt worse. I want to come back and I don't want to end my career off this injury. I would get it. But the fact that he knew, hey, we're getting a guy in, he's coming in Friday. I just need to get through this day. I need to find a way. And not only that, he gave you 5 innings of 1 earned run. Like, that is awesome. That's why you bring a guy like Lance Lynn in, because he will do that for you. He's done his last 2 starts, which have been really good. We talked about that last week, how good he had been. He was hurt for all of them. So that's
Right,
awesome. In terms of him, I'm not going to speculate about his injury, but he's on the IL, so Palante is just going to stay in the rotation, I would guess. Like,
right.
not to say McGreevy didn't earn another chance, because he certainly did. He was awesome today. But Palante's earned that chance for sure.
100%. And I know that I was nervous. I think a lot of people were nervous that Palante would get moved back. Well, the worst thing they could have done probably was move him to the bullpen right now. Like, instead of sending him back to Memphis to stay stretched out as a starter. And then when you get into September, if you need another bullpen arm, okay.
When you
Because
get
we
extra
can't get,
roster
we
spots,
couldn't
yeah.
get short. We couldn't get caught with our pants down again
It
with
kind
a
of worked
Matthew
out.
Liberatore start. Like,
And I kind of think like we'd heard Ollie say he wasn't committing to a rotation, whatever. They knew that Lance was going on the IL after the start, I think.
also,
And
can I say this? Not that I wanted Lance's knee to hurt, but it's not bad for Lance to take 2 weeks off. Like, he's
it's
thrown a
only
lot
bad
of.
if it's really hurt.
Agreed. That's what I'm saying. That I 100% agree with that. But if it's one of those things where maybe rest is what he needs, 2 weeks off for Lance is not going to hurt you right now. And getting Fedde like gives you that opportunity. And obviously, we'll get to McGreevy, like I said, in a minute. We might actually let's go ahead and get to him now. Like, what he showed today was you've got even another option potentially. Obviously, he's going to be sent right back down to Memphis, where he should be sent back down because he needs to stay stretched out as a starter. But if you would have got on Twitter, you would have thought I was pitching for the Cardinals today. Like, the doom and gloom around Michael McGreevy pitching, and I understand, whatever the prospects reports, whatever, those are fine and dandy. But shout out to him for coming in today and throwing an absolute gem when they needed him to.
And it wasn't like fake either. The first inning, I was concerned because back-to-back hitters, Josh Smith and Corey Seagers hit rockets right at people. I was like, oh boy. But he was actually like legitimately really good. And the thing I found interesting, I'm trying to find it here. Kareem tweeted it out. Like he had a cutter. Here it was. He threw seven cutters today with 3.6 inches of vertical break, which means it's just not a slider because it's not breaking down. He said he hadn't thrown any cutter like that the entire year at AAA. So I don't know how that's a thing that he like makes a new pitch for the major leagues or if it's an accident or whatever. But if his cutter was really good today, and if he can lock into that and use his cutter slider, that's just going to make him even better. I don't know what he's going to be. Like
Me
I'm not going
neither.
to sit here and say his ceiling is this, his whatever. But he looked like a guy that's a major league starter today.
It's just
It's
so
what I
it
know.
feels like so many people tweet out things because then if he is bad, they can say, "See, I told you so." Like I know I don't know. I trust the guys that we have on here to talk to us about the prospects, and I know that in the past there's been a little bit, hey, we don't know what to expect from McGreevy. He hasn't really been what we thought he would end up being. First round pick hasn't been what we thought he would be. But today, shout out to him. He deserved it all. I don't like you said. I don't know what he does going forward, but man, that's another guy that if you need in a pinch, he's sitting there coming after Graceffo did this not the same thing, but also didn't pitch too poorly here for the Cardinals.
It's also just huge to have, like, even if you don't even think about what it means for moving forward for Michael McGreevy. It's huge when you have a spot start for a guy to go out there and do that for you. To give you 7 innings, like that was probably one of the top 10 starting performances of the year for the Cardinals. Like
Right.
not just of a rookie, like of the year. He was that good. And Tommy Pham today, God, his sound bites are already out and about. Like he's already going to
It's
start causing problems, which I love. They asked him about how it was to have a guy come up and make a spot start like that. He said, "What spot start? We gotta find a way to keep that guy up here." That's what he said. It's like, well, there it is. Like that's why Mo didn't want Tommy Pham here 5 years ago, and that's why I'm surprised he brought him back. But
do we know if they got the treadmill?
I was thinking they probably did.
Okay, I hope that they
I hope they did, dude. Get to do
I
the
hope they got
treadmill.
Tommy the treadmill. That's all I care about. That's all I really want to know.
Wait, I have a
But yeah,
question. We need to get to Fedde a little bit more because I don't think we did enough.
absolutely, absolutely.
Because that's I think it's a major addition that people around baseball aren't giving the Cardinals enough credit for. Because he's not the sexy, Jack Flaherty's that guy, right? Like we thought he was going to be a star. He tailed off a little bit, but now he's back to being a star and he's got the moxie. So he's going to be the guy everyone talks about. Rightfully so. He's been awesome. But Fedde's gone under the radar, I think. I don't. I've gone to a place where people say, is he a one? Is he a two? I say, I don't care. Is he a playoff starter?
Right.
Erick Fedde's a playoff starter. Like,
Yes.
is there a world where you go up against the Phillies and he gives you 6 innings, 1 earned run, the same Aaron Nola gives the Phillies. And you're in the 7th inning of a bullpen game there on out, and it's 1-1. I think he can do that. Like, I
Do you
think that's a
know?
crazy thing.
Do you know what's hilarious?
Yeah.
Is the last podcast you said I don't know that I see Erick Fedde being shoving in the playoffs.
I did say that, and I was just among the people underrating him. I think for a few reasons. One, because he was awful with the Nationals before he went to Korea. Two, because he went to Korea and had to do that. And three, because he's on the White Sox, and the White Sox are gross and a horribly run organization. So I've looked into more. His sweeper is one of the best pitchers in baseball, similar to Sonny Gray. And if there is a guy that you want to bring into this pitching room, starting pitching room, you want a guy that's a good sweeper because Kyle Gibson and Sonny Gray know all about that and developing that pitch. And you want a guy that has a lot of pitches and can pitch because Michaelis and Gibson and Lynn and Gray, those guys will be able to help him. Like he's only going to get better, I think, when he gets in here. One, because he gets a better defense, and two, because he's going to be around people that have gone through the same thing he's going through. Like very similar. Miles Michaelis has almost an identical career path. So
Well,
I do
so
like the
6-year
dude. Give me
extension for Fedde after next year is what you're saying.
yeah. Well, I know. Give me 20. All I'm saying is give me 2018 Miles Michaelis, and I'll take it. Give me 2022 Miles Michaelis, and I'll take it.
Fedde was an All-Star this year, correct?
No, I don't think he made it.
Oh, I thought he did. Okay, my
He
bad.
should have, but I don't think he did.
Should have. I guess I should have really looked that one up before I brought that one out of
Because I
the
think their
old
All Star was Crochet,
stack
right?
there. Maybe you're right. Okay, I thought Fedde replaced somebody, but I could be
He might have
completely
gotten
wrong.
in, but I don't
I could be
think
completely
so.
wrong on that. Yeah, when you look at, I mean, we got to get Sonny right. Like we got to get
Yeah,
Sonny right because then it doesn't
big day
matter either
tomorrow for
way.
him.
Also, to be fair, I mean, I want to get to the standings in a little bit, so we'll talk about that later. But you know what? You know who this helps the most potentially this trade? Like honestly, is Matthew Liberatore because I want to hope in my mind that now he can settle in and not have to worry about being pissed around all the time and yanked around and pulled
It's
and here.
around.
I don't know if that was a real
That's not
phrase
a
or not.
phrase, I
I
don't.
did get pretty dehydrated at work today, so my brain is working a little bit on a lack of water. However, I just hope that he gets to settle into a bullpen role and be what
Yeah.
they need him to be.
I think a few things work in his favor for that. One, what McGreevy did today. Now you know you have another option. They can at the very least come up and give you competitive innings. So they know they have that now. Now whether or not he can come up next game and be awful, we don't know. But at least they'll feel confident giving him a chance. And also Steven Matz is on his way back. So you have your 5 starters right now, which we feel pretty good about. At least I do. I feel pretty good about the 5 they have. But you have Matz coming back, who seems to be rehabbing as a starter, which he should be, because if someone gets hurt, you want him to be able to fill that role. And then Leslie will be back eventually. So I think, yeah, Liberatore needs to just be a reliever, a high leverage left-handed reliever. They can pair with JoJo. And then you can let John King be the long man / ground ball specialist. That's what I would
So
look
you
at.
think they hold on? You think they have 4 lefties in that bullpen?
3 until Matt comes back, and then you got to figure out what you're doing.
Right, that's where okay.
But I mean, at that
What do
point,
we
you
know
could need
about
him to
Riley
be a.
O'Brien, by the way? What do we know there?
He's pitching. He's pitching in the minor league still. I don't
Okay,
know.
that's what I thought. I thought he was still in a rehab. I
Yeah,
didn't
I don't
know.
know if he's going to be back immediately after his.
Okay, and we're fine with that right now. We don't.
I am, yeah. Like Roy Croft
Yeah.
and Leahy have earned more opportunities, I think. So
Okay.
I'm okay with that. And
Let's get to the second trade. Inevitable.
yeah,
Um, you and I have been pretty outspoken as big Dylan Carlson fans on this show. That is obviously not necessarily changed as far as our fandom of Dylan Carlson, but you kind of said it's time. It's time for a change of scenery. It just, hey, I hope Shawn Armstrong was very good last year with the Rays. He hasn't been as good this year, whatever. He was very good with the Rays. I think you and I are both of the belief grab as many relievers as you can and throw them at a wall and hope that 7 of them stick. Like I think that we're both
yeah,
in that kind of
and that's worked out
belief,
really
right?
well for them this
I
year.
agree. Don't go pay a fortune for them. We can find guys. And Shawn Armstrong coming here in a pennant race in St. Louis, where not facing the AL East could help him as well. You know, I mean, as often as he does
Or even
there.
like pitch arsenal changes that
Correct. Yeah,
Dustin might be
we
seeing.
don't
Who knows?
know. I hate it. I hate it for 2 reasons. I don't hate the trade. I'm glad I understand it. I
Mm.
hate it. It just feels like we sold low again on another prospect because we didn't know exactly how either to utilize him or how to develop him. And we really, for some reason, decided we can't even send him to Memphis, which still, like, I don't understand that. I'm gonna finish the second one. I'll let you answer that. All right. Or finish that. So that I hate that a little bit. I also hate it because with the injuries that Dylan Carlson had, I don't think since 2021 we ever really saw what Dylan Carlson can do. Now, that's not our fault. That's not the front office's fault. That's not Ollie's fault. I mean, well, right, that's fair. But I just feel like you're underselling again on another top prospect. That's what
Yeah.
concerns me. That's all I want to say on that.
I have a couple of things. One, like I think this happens more to other teams than people realize with top prospects. Look at the Dodgers. What's going to be happening with Gavin Lux in the next year? Like,
Yeah, I get it.
what's going to be happening with what happened with Jurickson Profar for like 3 organizations before he finally caught on and took off this year?
Right.
So it happens more than people think when it happens to the Cardinals as much as it does. It gets frustrating. I will say if he goes to the Rays, I'm going to say I hope this happens because I really like Dylan and has a ton of success. At some point, you got to be like, okay, Cardinals, how many times? Like, how many times is this going to happen?
Right.
But for me, the one mistake they made, because I don't think they rushed his development in 2020 was weird in its own. But I can't really hold that against him because he was so good in 2021 that if he just would have been that player's whole career, awesome. Like that, he was great in 2021. He slugged over 500 in the second half of the year. What a far cry now from where he was then. The one mistake they made was not having him start the year in 2023 as a starter. That's the one mistake. They put Jordan Walker in there and let him be the right fielder. Dylan Carlson should have been given a chance to be the everyday starter from day one in 2023. That's the one mistake. Now, since then, he's done nothing to earn a starting job back. When he started to, Jordan Walker took him out. Like, so that's in spring
Right.
training this year.
Right. He
So
got
it
Walker
sucks.
twice.
It felt like a relationship that needed to end. My frustration is with the fact that we keep saying this, that there are players that we know are talented, that we know have more to offer, and that we all even believe when they go somewhere else, they're going to be good. Howard O'Neill's been great this year. He might be top 10 MVP voter again. Um, we need to start getting the best out of some of these guys. That needs to happen. But I'm happy for Dylan that he goes to a good organization. Like there's a spot. The thing that I think is funny is he probably is going to be a platoon bat there. Like if you know the
Well,
Rays,
yeah.
he's a platoony guy, like who he's gonna platoon with Richie Palacios probably, which is kind of funny. Who got hurt today, so maybe not. But I hope they give him a chance,
Well, and
especially if they fall out of the race.
they did trade Randy, so there are more outfield at bats for to
I mean,
go
they have
around.
Josh Lowe and Jose Siri and Richie Palacios.
That's what I'm saying. So like that's only four guys. Like he's going to get at bats out there.
I,
I
I just
would
hope, I hope
assume.
I hope if they don't make the playoffs, which I don't think they're going to, but if it's like the last month, they know they're out of it. Just give the dude a run. Let's see what he has because he
Agreed.
hasn't gotten that opportunity in a while.
Also, nice to get another arm to go. I mean, another guy who has experience at the back end of a bullpen, who has experience in high leverage situations that you don't have to use Kittredge, Fernandez all the time. It gives you another arm that you can have. And in my opinion, that's never, I mean, everyone's opinion, that's never a bad thing to have. An experienced arm in the back of the bullpen is always good.
Yeah, and also like maybe Kittredge can help him. Like they were teammates last year when he had his best season he's ever had.
Yep.
So maybe there's something there. I know a lot of people really respect Andrew Kittredge in the bullpen. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they can unlock something in him. He still has okay strikeout stuff. Like it's just his numbers are way down. So we'll see what happens. The one thing I am really concerned about is all of their relievers are very platoon heavy, besides Fernandez and Helsley. They're all either really good against righties or really good against lefties. Very few of them are good against both. And he's one of those guys. So that is a little bit concerning when we get to the playoffs, if they get there, or down the stretch where you have pinch hitters coming on and it could be a mess. But hopefully
Without looking at 29 other rosters, which I haven't done, are how many I don't know how to word this question. Do you believe that most teams have guys that are really, really solid against both? Like I don't know that answer because I don't watch every team's left inning specialist like I probably should.
Yeah, the majority of relievers, I would guess, are all like that. Similar, like unless you're like
That's
Andre
kind of what I was
Palante,
thinking.
like the Palantes are rare where they're better against one side than the other.
Right.
That normally means you have a really good cutter or whatever you have. Um, like Mo just killed lefties and ate him
Well,
alive because of his cutter.
he killed
Um,
everyone.
well, I know, but like lefties in particular, they just broke all their bats.
Yes.
You have to have pitch to do that. I would imagine so, but it's a drastic one. Like it's like 500 OPS versus righties, 900 versus lefties. Not okay, 500 versus righties and 700 versus
I
lefties.
got you. I got you.
And we'll see. Like
Okay,
maybe somebody got to figure something out.
let's talk a little bit about the outfield, how you think you see it shaking up. Let me ask you this.
Mhm.
And it's a two-part question. I'll let you answer it. One, are we worried about Gorman's back a little bit? And two, do we think Tommy Pham might work his way into where Brendan Donovan gets more playing time at second base?
I was about to say, I think that those two, whatever you were going to ask me about, Tommy is going to play into that. Um, I'm not worried about Gorman's back any more than I've been worried about it for 2 years because it just keeps popping up. Um, I am more worried that Nolan Gorman needs to like step on. Not even worried. Nolan Gorman needs to be better. He's not playing anymore down the stretch.
That's
Straight
yeah,
up. Like I'm over it at this point. Like play better. You can't. I'm sorry. I get you're hot and cold. You've had one hot streak the entire year. Where are the other ones? Like you can't be hot for 2 weeks and you're hot for 2 weeks is, oh, I hit 8 homers, but then you're bad for the other 3 months. Like that can't happen. So I think Gorman would be such a valuable bat in a postseason series, especially if he's not just what he is right now, which is striking out every time. Like if you get a hot Gorman in a playoff series, he could carry you. Like that's how good he can be. So I think it's important for this team that he gets back to some version of what he was last year, where he was above 800 OPS. He had a really good year. Um, but if he doesn't, Tommy Pham, like it's gonna be hard not to play him if he's playing like this or similar.
agreed. And also just the energy that he brings to not. I mean, when you have he and Wilson out on the field at the same time and in the lineup, and just like that is going to rub off on a lot of people. I believe.
Yeah, well,
Like
it
the
already has. I
experience.
think.
I mean, you saw the dugout, you saw Matt Carpenter, and I thought it was cool that many of the guys had gone. A few of the guys had gone to the front office and to Ollie and said, you need to get Tommy Pham in here."
Is it
Like,
surprising to you that Arenado is one of those guys? Because I don't know if Arenado knows this, but if he keeps pulling the same shit he's been doing, like dropping ground balls and making someone else pick him up and walking away, almost allowing a guy to get to second base, Tommy Pham is going to light your ass up.
yeah,
Like he might punch you. Like not just he's been stabbed twice. Someone needs to tell Nolan this.
I
Like
wanted to get
Tommy Pham
also
doesn't
don't get in
play.
his fantasy football league because he will let you know about it.
Well,
Remember,
just
we know
don't sit
that.
on his team while you're talking about it. Um, no, like for real
Let's
though.
talk about your Nolan comments there because I wasn't watching that game. And you showed me the clip and I watched it later. What's going on? What do you think is going on there? There's been now. Can I say this before you answer your
Yeah,
questions? I've seen a lot of the line the stuff on Twitter about him not running out double plays.
I don't care.
Let me say this. I don't care. All right,
No.
like that is the most over. That is from someone to me who played freshman high school baseball and had
Okay,
to work there.
don't insult people that say it.
Okay, my apologies for that. But it's also like
When they're bang bang,
I don't
it's
know how
reasonable
else
to
to say it
say,
without saying it like
well,
that.
when they're
Like
bang bang, you should be running, dude. Like if you can beat
no
it out.
argument there.
There's a difference between an 110-mile-per-hour missile right at the shortstop who's at the bag that's gonna obviously turn it, than
Correct.
a chopper to the third baseman where you'd beat it out if you ran just a little bit. Like those are some of the
100%.
ones that frustrate me that he has been doing. Like it's
The,
not just he's hitting BBs and they're automatic outs.
what
That
I
frustrates.
would like to say is, and I'm not making the comparison here because the other two are going to be Hall of Famers, but I think so is Nolan. We watched Yachty and Albert do the same thing on. That's why there's a lot of reasons Albert also leads the majors in all-time double plays because he did the same thing in a late July game, and I never got mad at him for it because you got to protect your body over 162.
Well,
And then I saw the comparisons to Tyler O'Neill, different. Not that's different from trying to score on second when you need a run. Like those are two polar opposite things. I'm not condoning Nolan Arenado. I want everybody to say that. I'm simply trying to explain that from when you're in a 162 game and you hit it, when it's a double play. Like, do we want him to pull a hammy when he's thrown out by 10 feet? Like, that's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, those are not always the situations people get mad at. But yeah, obviously, first thing, why were we not mad at Albert and Yachty when that happened? Why
Because
why
this,
did no why did no one care?
well, but they did. I saw it.
No,
That's what
hold
I'm
on.
saying.
Why did no sane person care? Why? Answer the question. Why did no
I
one
don't
care
know.
about Albert?
I don't know
It's
the
because he
answer.
was Albert Pujols. That's why. Because he
Well,
was
Yachty
good.
wasn't Albert Pujols.
Okay, he's the best catcher in franchise history. It's a Hall of Famer. That's why we didn't care.
Nolan's a Hall of Famer as well. That's what I'm
You
saying.
know why people care when Nolan Arenado is not giving as much effort right now? Because he sucks right now. Because he's
Okay.
bad. That's why
Okay.
people care. Play better. Then you know what? Hit 30 homers, then you can do it.
That's a very valid response right there. That's a very valid. I'm
Honestly,
simply saying,
Javi
like,
Baez can't do that because he's
hitting your
awful.
panties up in a wad over him not running
Yeah, but that's
5,000
not
miles
what
per hour on a double play is too
but
much for me.
it just depends. It depends on the play. Like, and yeah, if someone bobbles the ball and you could have made it if you weren't walking the first base, dude,
I
I'm sorry, Dad. It's fundamental. You get 4 bats a game, you can fucking run.
okay.
Stop.
I'm
Like that
not.
makes me
Please,
so angry. That's his job. His job is to run 90 feet twice a game, and he can't do it because the other
I'm
two
not.
guys are striking out. So you
You
telling me he can't run the first base now because he's gonna pull a ham? Then why are you playing baseball still? If you can't run the first base, I'm
you
not
were
saying you have to sprint like Mason Wynn, but I am gonna say you can at least look like you're giving the tiniest, like even like the most unacceptable It's like he's not even trying to run. He doesn't even make it the first half the time.
There were
It's
so many
ridiculous.
times I watched Yachty carry a bat 45 feet, get
Yachty
thrown
was
out, and then
squatting for 9 innings.
okay, I get it, but I'm just
150
simply
times a summer. Nolan Arenado already takes a day off every once in a while, and he plays third base. And he honestly, what's his excuse for not going to grab a ball off the ground that were 2 feet away from him? Was he going to pull a hammy doing that? So
that's
I'm not going to give him any benefit of the doubt on running when he's not even doing fundamental things like not making your teammate pick up a ball that you misplayed when a runner almost got the second on it. So it's not to me that, oh, that's only why. He has a bad attitude right now, a bad attitude, and he needs to fix it, or Tommy Pham's going to help him fix it, or Lance Lynn's going to help him fix it, because what he's doing right now is not acceptable on this team at all. I think he was benched yesterday. I really do. They're not going to say it, but he had those 2 plays that were like pathetic, like legitimately. If I did that in high school, I'm getting benched for the rest of the season. Like that's how
oh
bad it looked. I know,
yes.
obviously, he's a major leaguer, but that's what I'm saying. I think he was benched. I do. I think they said, you're not playing. Like if you can't even, if you're gonna make your second baseman, Brendan Donovan, pick up a baseball that you muffed because you want to be a little crybaby, that is a horrible look. And I'm not gonna give him any benefit of the doubt for the ground balls if he's doing that too.
Okay, that's a valid response. You started on my side and then you completely
I
flip
got
floppity
heated
flippity.
because I think it's too much. Like he's too much. He's not like, why is he acting like this? He did this last year. Stop moping. No one cares that you're performing bad. Perform better, or at least act like a part of the team. You know, the one person I didn't see cheering for Tommy Pham last night when he hit the grand slam? The one person I didn't see in a highlight? Nolan Arenado.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a massive problem. And
Yeah, his
I
whole
think that's something
everything's a problem with him.
I think that's something to keep an eye on for the rest of the year because I mean that's not going to go unknown by the Matt Carpenters and the Tommy Phams and the Wilson Contrerases. And I mean Goldschmidt's not going to say anything and he's on his
Like
way out anyway.
he
But
might, yeah, he might say stay. I don't know. I would be. There's no way that if you are in that dugout and you see what he did with that Donovan ball. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go watch it. It's on Twitter. Where it was a chopper, he misplayed it. I don't care that he misplayed it, but it's baseball, you're gonna make errors. He made Donovan walk the other way, made Donovan go pick it up, and the guy almost got to second because of it. There's if no one said a word to him in the dugout when he got in there, that's disappointing. If not one human being said, "What the hell was that? How you cannot do that on this field ever again." Like someone had to have said something, right?
I hope so. I hope so.
Like at least a coach, Ollie. I know Ollie probably didn't like it if he saw it. There's no way if Donovan could have said something. Like at this point, I'm sorry, Nolan, you're not above everyone else. You're not even as good as most of the people on this team anymore. So you definitely don't have that on them. I just hate it. I hate that I hate what's going on here with him.
I understand. I get it. I touched a nerve there. I like that.
It's
That
just
was
so
fire.
frustrating because we were all so excited when he got here. All we've been told was that he was like a Tommy Pham, right? A winner, a guy
Right.
that wanted more than anything to do things. And I still believe that. I still believe he cares very much. But for God's sake, don't act like a child on the field. Like that's the most fundamental ask is for your franchise player to not act like a baby on the field.
Now you made me want him to run faster to first base. So
Like it's just like
you swayed
it's not
me.
even like it's a culmination of everything. And when you see him do things like that, and then you see him not run to first on a close play, then you're not going to give him the benefit of the doubt. You're not going
That's
to give him
valid.
the Pujols treatment when he's been 350 with 45 home runs and getting you to World Series every other year. He
That's
doesn't
a
get that.
very, very valid point. So good. I thank you for that. Let's switch subject a little bit here. Before we get to the 4 game series with the Cubs at Wrigley. Your sister, by the way, is in Chicago right now at Lollapalooza, so maybe she'll run into some of them somewhere. I doubt that they are at
I
the
doubt. I hope they're
Lollapalooza
not there.
show,
I hope they're
and I
not.
doubt that Hannah ends up anywhere near where the Cardinals will be. But who knows? You never know. Um, let's talk a little bit about Bill DeWitt's comments. I don't know what exactly they were. I saw the New York
They weren't
Times report.
comments. They were reports.
I saw the New York Times report that he didn't want to increase salary this year or next year. What do you make of all of this? Where do you stand on this? If so, that's not a great message to send to your fan base who already, I mean, from what I've read and from what I've heard, the resale value on season tickets right now is like the lowest it's ever been on outlets, and season ticket holders are not happy about
Okay.
it.
I just bought a ticket. I just bought a ticket for I'm going to the game on Wednesday. Um, I'm sitting there were $1 bleacher seats, by the way, before fees. $1. And I didn't get those because I wanted to not be in the sun. But I'm $11 was like in the lower bowl right by the foul pole. It was $11.
Yep.
Which is a great deal, by the way. Go to the game if you can. So my first take is not about the DeWitts. One, great on Mo for being able to do what he did under those constraints. To be able to get Tommy Edmonds' money out, bring Fedde's money in, and also bring Pham and Armstrong along with it. That's great on him to be able to do everything he needed to do, basically outside of maybe we want another bullpen arm under those constraints. So that makes his deadline even better, in my opinion. But for DeWitt, I just don't get it. The whole thing at the end of the season, I mean, at the beginning of the season, was that Mo said he could have added a little bit more, but he was keeping some powder dry for the deadline, as he says that every year, basically. So I guess that just wasn't true, or he got told differently. And it goes back to Bill DeWitt III's comments that he probably shouldn't. He said the quiet part out loud, where he said, "It's funny that fans think boycotting games is going to make us spend more. It'll make us spend less." So I mean, he told you why this is happening. That's why. I don't think people are really boycotting games. There's not really going as much. They're still on pace to sell over 3 million tickets, I believe. They're still top 10 in payroll. I mean, in attendance, paid attendance, I should say. But the actual attendance being reported that's going to the games that we don't know with like it's not reported, is way lower than it's ever been. I think.
Let me ask you that. I
Probably
wanted
not.
to ask you that. Are those numbers out there? Because I tried to look up
Probably
some
not.
stuff, the turnstile numbers. They've got them, by the way. When
They
you go
haven't.
through a turnstile, they know how many people, they know how many butts are in that stadium for every single game.
Yeah, but no team releases that. But yeah, they definitely know them.
It's gotta be dramatic, dude.
It's got to be
Also,
like you got to think it's only like 3/4 of the tickets being sold to people actually attending, right?
I
Maybe.
I think it's low. 75% seems kind, dude. I think you're closer to
Yeah, but 50
65.
seems really low. That's
I
probably
think you're
not.
closer to 65%, 60.
So around 2/3 to 3/4 around that area.
Yes, that in that
Which,
area, that's
if
what
we're
I would
talking about
say.
like, for people who are younger that are watching this, might not remember this, but if you were around during the 2010 to 2015 years, it was probably 85% of people going to games.
Oh,
Like those
100%.
games, like it would be a Wednesday night, a Wednesday day game in May, and there would be 25,000 people there.
Now, I spent a lot of my high school years when I could drive. So the 90 season to the 93 season, like that was college, like 93, going to a ton of games. $5 bleacher seats. You'd walk up, you'd get them. We sat in the front row of the bleachers almost every night when we went. And there was no one there. I mean, I'm talking, they'd report 25,000. There might have been 10 in the stadium. So it's not dramatic that way yet, but it's also like there, I was watching a day game or a night game the other night. It's summer break. There couldn't have been more than 25,000 people in the stadium.
Even today, like there's always like hot days in July, day games. They can be miserable to go to. Like let's be honest, we've gone to a bunch where they're not really
Yes,
that fun because you're sweating, you're getting sunburnt, especially if you're in the bleachers. So I get it, but normally on like a day like today, where they're playing, a Texas Rangers team that you don't get to see much. Like you don't get to see Corey Seager and those guys come in here often. Especially a rubber match of a game while you're in playoff contention after making big moves at the deadline, and there couldn't have been more than 15 to 20,000 people there? Couldn't have been. I don't even know if it was
I
that high.
I go back to what I said in my original when I brought it up. I mean, I have seen a lot of the rumblings from season ticket holders saying we ain't re-upping. We're not doing it because in the past we've gotten 75% of our value back if we had to miss a game. We're getting like 10% back now.
It
And
can't
if
even
you're
be
not going
that
to
much,
invest
honestly. It
and
can't
you're
even be
not
that
going to
much.
invest in the team, then why are we going to reinvest in you? And I think like Bill the DeWitts better be careful. They're towing a very dangerous line with Cardinal baseball. What they're doing is they're playing on all of us and our heartstrings and our emotions and our ties to Cardinal baseball. But you're already seeing a lot of people saying we'll go somewhere else.
And here's the thing: like they when they bought the Cardinals, obviously DeWitt deserves so much credit for what he's done. Like seriously,
Agreed.
so much. But when he bought the Cardinals, he was buying a gold mine. He was buying something that was so ingrained in the city of St. Louis that there was almost no way to mess it up. Like he enhanced it to a level that many people probably wanted of, but you weren't messing it up because people love the Cardinals so much that if you have just a competent team on the field, you're bringing in so much money. I don't care if he says it's not profitable. If it wasn't profitable, he wouldn't own it. So stop. I don't want to hear that. He's not messing it up, I don't think, but I do wonder like what his thought process is here. Like I'm not saying he needed to go out, and to be fair to him, not him, be fair to like anyone that Mo, I guess. There was no one out there who's gonna add $20 million in salary this deadline. There's
Agreed.
no one even out there like that. So for me, like you just didn't even have to say anything. Like you weren't adding that anyway. Um, but it does kind of suck that it seems like they shopped Tommy Edman because of this. And I think
Yes.
the move was good, and I think it was a worthwhile expenditure of assets to trade Tommy and bring in Fedde. That's a good swap. It's similar to Montgomery. I hope it works out the same. Montgomery and Bader. But it sucks that that seems to be the way Tommy ended here was because of a payroll situation.
It also sucks to me that what the one that caught me more was the Orin 25. That's the one that caught me. That there's also not going to be
It's significant money in 25. So
what I
I don't
read.
know what that means.
I did not go on Spotrac, but what I did read was we're at 176 right now for a payroll. That's significant lower than what he said we would be at.
I mean, it's 40-man payroll, so I don't know. I don't know what that's going to end up being. It's going to be around 190 something probably by the end of the year.
Yeah, that.
I
And I
don't know. I
know
don't
that
know.
the
I mean,
I
think about it
understand
though.
the
Think about it this way: like you're paying Tommy Edman 7 point whatever million, what they were before they trade him, and so when he's on the IL, you're still paying him that, but you're paying Siani now 750K. It adds
right.
up.
I get
I
it.
think that happened. Matt similar and all that, so it'll probably get up close to 190, which is right around where I thought they'd be. They might push 200. Some people think they will. I don't know.
Think
Um,
they really look to deal Mats in the offseason?
I would say that I would be surprised if he's on this team.
Okay, I would too. I would
Like
too.
if, especially Palante keeps pitching well because I think they're gonna re-up Gibson for sure. I don't. It's gonna be a tough conversation with Lance Lynn. There's no reason to bring him back, in my opinion. So I would think that you probably look to move Mats. I would. I don't know.
Yeah, I that's what I would say.
Also, like Teddy
Two.
Gray's money is going up a lot next year.
I,
We talked about this in the offseason.
now
So
Goldie's is gone.
maybe if they don't bring him
Well,
back.
don't even, bro.
Well,
If
there's a
they
chance
do,
to give him a 1 year deal. That's obviously possible. By the way, Paul Goldschmidt's been one of the best power hitters this year. We haven't
I
talked about that.
well, okay.
I mean, he's the third best power hitter on the team.
Yeah, but where does he rank in National League, Caleb? Like just
He has
because you're
16
third
homers.
best
He's
on
on
the
pace to hit
team,
around. I mean, I get he's a 37-year-old is on pace to hit 28 homers.
that to me that's a bigger reflection on your team than him being really good, being
I
the
mean, most
third
people
best.
don't have four guys going over 30.
Okay.
I mean, they don't, like, other than like the Braves. I don't think they do this year. Like, it would be, I mean, who's going to get over 30? Gorman and Burleson both have a chance, and that's about it, probably, for the Cardinals. Wilson would probably get over 30 if he was healthy.
Yeah, I agree. Um Goldschmidt at 16, I don't think he's going to get to 30.
No, I think he gets to around 25, 26,
Yeah.
which is a good, I
Are
mean,
you
that's a good power hitter in
are
baseball.
you concerned about Burley and Donovan right now?
No, they're slumping. They were red hot. Like
Did
that's the thing we talk about is when these guys are red hot, they what they did was they picked Goldschmidt and Arenado up. They said, okay, we're hot right now. We can be the catalyst. There needs to be Goldie and Arenado got to pick them back up. That's not happening. And Contreras also cooled off.
yeah, would love to give whoever I read this from credit because I'd like to do that. But Burley has a 45 WRC plus against lefties, the lowest on the team, even though he has the
Two
most at
RBIs
bats
today.
against lefties. Who?
Two RBIs today from against the
Yeah,
lefty.
I thought you were gonna tell me who said it, but I don't remember who it was. So whoever it was, if you're watching, I apologize. Put yourself in the put your tweet in our comments, and I will give you credit next time because I do try to do that. Either way, that's not good.
Yeah, I have a couple thoughts on that. One, I kind of like having him towards the top of the order because starters don't go deep anymore, and you want Burley up behind Mason Wynn and behind Contreras against a lefty. Just because when the bullpen comes in, I want him behind those two, you know. But also like his at bats against lefties are good. Like I know that his numbers aren't good. He's hit into a lot of really bad luck against lefties lately. I think. Um, he doesn't strike out an insane amount. I'm perfectly fine with keeping him batting there, honestly, just because I think he's so valuable in the middle of this lineup late in games when you're facing high leverage relievers that you want to have him behind Wynn and Contreras, where so that if their righty comes in a right-handed reliever, you have that threat there. The problem would be if you say, okay, we're taking him out, we're moving Goldie up to 3 against a lefty, then a right-handed reliever late in the game is just going to feast. So I'd keep him there, honestly.
Let's get to the Cardinal weekend before we get to the rest of the league. 4 games in Wrigley. It starts with Sonny Gray and Imanaga. We get to see Erick Fedde, I think, on Friday,
Yep.
right? I believe so against Assad, who
Yep.
has for some reason dominated us as well.
Yeah. Yep.
Then we get to see Jameson Taillon against Gibby, and then we round it out on Sunday night baseball on ESPN. Justin Steele against Miles Michaelis.
Those are the four
I
guys you want going, right?
Yeah, they are for
I
us.
don't.
They're also
Yeah,
probably the four guys outside. Can't believe Hendricks isn't starting. He's probably gonna pitch 18 innings in relief.
uh,
So just be ready for that.
I think he's still in the rotation, isn't he?
Yeah, I was kidding, but yes.
Yeah, he might come back in. First off, hilarious that Jameson Tyon's still on the Cubs.
Yes.
Hilarious. That organization just doesn't know what they're doing, and that's funny. Um, Tomorrow's a big game for Sonny Gray. That's my takeaway. Like obviously, outside of I'm really excited to see what Erick Fedde looks like in front of the Cardinals defense and on a good team. But Sonny Gray needs to be good tomorrow, and I think he will be. Like his comments, we haven't talked about this yet. His comments the other day, after his bad start about needing to commit to it, and it takes a lot of energy to be as good as he has been, and he just needs to get back to that. I on the surface, like as a fan, you're kind of thinking, well, like what were you not doing before? This is 5 starts in a row where you've been bad. Two wasn't enough. Like 2 starts, it wasn't enough to get back to it. But I do think like we all have these moments where in our job we don't do, we don't put them as much effort as you'd probably like to that you put forward. Um,
Every every day.
Everyone, right? It's human nature to slack sometimes. I think what he's saying is it takes him so much energy and preparation and going through his pregame routine and committing to every pitch the way he does. Like he grunts with every pitch. That's why like his 85 pitches seem more strenuous than Lance Lynn's 110. I think it takes a lot of effort. And I think what he's saying is he needs to make sure he's getting back to being as focused as he can be because that's the way he can be great because he's not Jacob DeGrom, right? He's not going to go out there and be the ace just because he throws 100. So he has to be better than that. I have confidence that he's going to come out tomorrow and pitch really well. That's what I'm going to say.
Imanaga's been, by the way, after the couple hiccups he had, has been very good lately.
Yeah, and Cardinals can't hit. Cardinals haven't been able to hit lefties this year. They hit Haney well the night after the Pham edition. So see if that continues tomorrow.
All right, let's make our predictions. What do you have? I'm saying they go 2-2.
I think
It's
they need.
Wrigley.
Yeah, it is. But I've also seen them sweep 4 game series in Wrigley. That Tyler O'Neill, remember? I think they went 3 or 4. I think they're starting to get going here. I really do think, you never can say, well, this is a momentum changer, right? That you just don't know. Like we had that. Remember that game? Gorman hit that walk off homer and earlier this year, and everyone's like, "This is the one." Like they're gonna get
Yep.
going, and then they lost like by 10 runs the next day. So momentum once again only as good as your next day starting pitcher. Sonny Gray needs to be good tomorrow, and I think he will be. So I think they win 3 or 4.
Let's just really briefly go through the standings here. Just discounting the Central. Pirates are 6 games back. Cardinals are 5 games back. Pirates are going to get Jared Jones back. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle him and Skeens down the way. They did not
Pirates
make
lost
any.
tonight.
Do what?
Pirates lost today.
I assume so. They
They were tied
are.
going into today.
Yeah. They're 2 back,
They were
and
up
we're
big,
one.
I think, in that game too. So I guess they blew it.
Yeah, 6-4 in their last 10. Cardinals are 5-5. The Padres are on fire. The Diamondbacks have all of a sudden creeped into the second wild card
Yeah.
spot. I'm gonna say this: the Cardinals are gonna have to up their game across the board, and I hope Nolan Arenado is listening to the comments that you had earlier because
No,
I
he
mean.
shouldn't be. Also,
You're,
yeah.
yeah, but he should be. You're currently behind Atlanta, Arizona, San Diego, and the Mets. I want to think Pittsburgh's going to bow out, but they haven't yet. Like they're
I think they're
still
going to
right
be
there.
right there. I really do.
I mean, with that pitching staff, I don't, and they have just enough
They
offense
also
to
have
be
good
annoying.
vibes. They're a vibes team.
Well, Derek Shelton is the guy, man. I mean, I don't think he's going to win Manager of the Year because I think Murphy's going to win it. But Derek Shelton sure as hell should get a lot of votes.
Also,
As should
Brian
Ollie.
Reynolds. Did you see the ball O'Neill Cruz hit the other day? Went
Yeah, well,
400.
he hits in
By the
Arizona.
way,
Yes.
bullshit. That thing was 580 feet. If I'm telling once again, I'm gonna get angry again, dude. If Ted Williams actually hit that damn seat in Fenway, and that's supposed to be like 550 feet away, then there's no chance that ball O'Neill Cruz hit was only like 480. There's
I
no
know.
chance.
Also, how is
One
Cabrian
thing's not
Hayes
adding
so
up.
bad at hitting?
Who?
Cabrian Hayes cannot hit.
I mean, he's all the talent in the world. His dad was a really good player. I don't know. I don't get
Yeah,
it.
Charlie was awesome. But Cabrian
Great
cannot hit.
fielder.
Yeah,
Good major
cannot
league
hit.
player. Like, he's a good major league. He'd be a really good like 8-9 hitter on a good team that has guys around him.
Yeah, but you just can't have a defense only guy at third base. Like you just can't.
It's tough. Like I've always wondered why he wasn't a shortstop because he can come.
I think this is going to be wild because, like I said, with all these teams right there, San Francisco's 5 out of the wild card, but they don't really feel like they're in it. It does feel like it's a 5 car or 5 team race
Yeah.
with the Braves, the Diamondbacks, the Padres, the Mets, and I mean we saw what the Padres did. They're getting Darvish back, I believe. That we
Okay, so
don't know.
he has some family things I believe going on that are like he's
Yeah,
away from the team for personal
I don't
reasons.
know what to make out of Atlanta. Like I just don't. I still think they're the best
Horrible
team out of
trade
those
deadline
5.
for them. Okay, so that brings me into something I wanted to talk about. That horrible trade deadline for them. Like they did nothing. Jorge Soler, I liked the move when it happened, and then I thought about it and I was like, wait. So either Ozuna and Soler will both not one of them won't be in the lineup, or one of them's gonna have to be in the outfield.
They'll put
And
Soler in the outfield.
he's played 0 innings in the outfield this year.
I know, for San Francisco. I
So
know.
like then I hate the move. It's just stupid. Go get Lane Thomas instead.
When you had Adam Duvall.
Right. Like it just he's been awful, by the way. Um I do you think we should have asked this earlier probably. Do you think the Cardinals did enough? I got two questions. One, to separate themselves from the pack. Two, three. This is a three-parter. Sorry. Two, to get back in
No
the
way I
division.
remember all these.
The Cardinals. Okay, so the Cardinals are 5 games back in the division now. So second, to get back into the division and make it interesting, and three, to make a run in the playoffs. Do you think they did enough? Because they can't
Seems
make
like
any more. It's done.
it does feel to me like all three of those questions were just one question.
Did they do enough?
No. Um,
Okay.
oh, hold on. Let me
Okay.
take it. Hold on. Let me take it piece by piece.
I
Okay.
don't like that, but okay.
Well, hold on. I don't think your first question was, did they separate from the pack? My answer is no. They
Agreed.
did not. All right. I mean, I do think the Arizona Christian Walker's injury did seem like they got way better news than what they were concerned about. He is on the IL, but we know how obliques go. Corbin Carroll's starting to hit a little bit.
A lot.
Brendan Pfaadt pitched great the other night. They're getting, I think they're getting Merrill Kelly back, right? Did I hear
And
that?
Rob.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Montgomery, by the way. Ooh.
They seem to be trending in the right direction right now. The
Potentially.
Padres are starting to come together. Tatis is going to be back at some point. That to me is a massive like get back for them.
Okay. Can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
I think the Padres are far and away the best team in the wild card race.
Okay. The Mets, I don't know what to make of the Mets. I honestly don't know. Like at one point, I think they're dead, and then the next point they look really, really good. They remind me a lot, honestly, of the Cardinals. Except I think their starting pitching's a little bit better than ours.
I think they're starting pitching significantly worse, but I guess that's a different.
I don't think it is by numbers.
They have
though.
a Sonny Gray on their team. Yes or no?
No, but to be fair, Sonny Gray has a 6
ERA
ERA on his last 30 days. Like,
okay, do they have a guy that's capable of doing what Sonny Gray's capable of?
Probably not.
The answer is just no. It's definitely not. They don't.
Okay.
Do they have even Erick Fedde? Probably. I mean, Luis Severino's been really good, so I guess him.
Quintana.
So
I mean,
the Mets are a team, right, that could either continue to play as well as they've played. They've been great for the last month, or they could just completely nosedive again. So I just don't know. I think they're talented. Their line's much better than I think I gave it credit for. Like 1 through 9, they can go pretty deep. Like Francisco Alvarez is a freaking stud. That guy doesn't get enough credit. So they're going to be in it. I think the Cardinals need to get back in this division. And I'm
that's
not saying
where I was going. You took the words. You didn't let me finish your 3-part, 47-part question. You didn't let me finish it.
You condensed it down into one.
Well, I didn't. I said separate.
Said
no. Do I believe they have a shot at the division? Yes. Okay. Do I think they're going to have a hard time to win a wild card? Yes, I will say that. I think they have a hard time in the wild card. I think they need to get back in this division race. They're only 5 out. So to say they're not in it is one thing. I just think when you've got so many teams fighting, it's just going to be hard.
It gets convoluted and complicated.
It does, and I don't know what to make of it. I'm not saying they can't. I'm saying that just it's hard for me to wrap my mind around it.
The one thing the Cardinals have, they've done a really good job of beating those teams, right? So they've won the season series against the Pirates. They've won the season series against not against the Padres yet. They're up 2-1, so they'd have to win the next series to win that series. They have to win the next game against the Mets to tie that series, I believe. And then the Braves, they've won the season series. So they've done a good job against teams around them to be able to at least have the tiebreaker. I just think they've got 6 games against the Brewers the rest of the year, right? And it really sucks looking back at how poorly they were playing when they played half their games against the Brewers, that they really lost a bunch of ground they could have gained there. But if you can get within 3 games by, let's
September
say by
1st.
August 15th, that's what I'll say. If you can get by the middle of August, if you can get within 3 games, you have a legitimate shot, and they need to do it.
I think by September 1st, you have a legitimate shot. But yes.
Yeah, that just gets tough because then you're banking on a team losing.
What the Cardinals can't do is what they've done so often this year is go 5-5 and 10. Like they need an 8-2 like over a 10-game span.
And it's tough. Have you looked at their August schedule?
It's not going to be easy. Like
it's one of the hardest.
Everyone's going to have to step it up. All right, let's get to a little bit around the league and then we'll get out of here. First off, shout out Jackson Holliday and the Holliday family as he hit his first Major League home run today, a grand slam. Youngest player did I see in Orioles or Major League history? It was one of those, but I think it was Orioles to hit a grand slam. I think Orioles history.
Yeah, I would assume like a Bryce Harper did it or something before.
Yeah, or a Soto or something like that.
Yeah, or Machado, one of those
But
guys.
yeah, either way, that's awesome. That was such a cool moment. That team, I don't understand some of the moves they made at the deadline. Um,
Did.
but whatever, right? What you got? They got a plethora sitting at their hands. So Jackson Holiday, shout out to him.
Yeah, he's a stud. Good to see. Hopefully he doesn't have to go back down. That's my hope.
One thing we didn't talk about on the last one, so this is like just a little bit dated, but Dylan Cease's a no-no for the Padres, and I just couldn't stop laughing that he had to talk Mike Schilt into letting him stay in the game, because is there anything more fucking Mike Schilt than that?
I don't get. He's probably going to bring in Alex Reyes to finish out the game. Yeah,
We don't have to go deep into it. I LOL'd at that because
yeah,
that
that
was
is funny,
fucking
and also that's cool for Dylan Cease. That's the second no hitter in Padres history. Then Joe Musgrove had their first a couple years ago.
correct. Correct.
Yeah,
Sneaky good move at the deadline. We don't have to go through all of them. I think a sneaky good move was our friend D. Pagel's Guardians getting Lane Thomas. Like I just think another bat, and that I think that team is really good. And I just think adding Lane Thomas into there, I think they probably could have used some more pitching. To be honest, even though they
Alex
might be
Cobb's a
getting
good
healthy,
move. I think.
huh?
Yeah, Alex Cobb. I kind of like that move.
Yeah, I agree. But
He's
I
healthy.
think Lane Thomas is a sneaky good move for them. He can run, he can play outfield, he can hit for power. I just think that's a
Is he
pretty
a
good
top
move for
five
them.
hitter on that team? You think?
Oh yeah, I would think so.
That's a good move. Yeah. So I think they needed more, but the problem is like I can say that, and then I look, and there wasn't more out there. Like there
No,
just
there
wasn't.
wasn't.
Like
There
Brent
wasn't.
Rooker would have been obviously perfect for them, but he wasn't available.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so yeah, I like Lynn Thomas a lot. He's gonna at least hit well against lefties, which means you put him behind or in front of Josh Naylor and help that guy out, so he doesn't have to face lefties that much. That'd be great. So yeah, I like Lynn Thomas. I just it's it's kind of whatever to me. We'll see.
Um,
We don't know.
Weird move at the deadline to me was the Cubs getting Isak Paredes, but I tweeted, and I think now we all know he will be the next Aramis Ramirez against the Cardinals for the next 12 years and will haunt us forever.
Morel, by the way, two homers in his first two games with the Rays because of
He's
course.
going to dominate down. That's the
Yeah,
other guy, by the way,
I don't think
there's
that's a good
another
move.
guy.
Here's my hot take. I don't think that's a good move for the Cubs. They gave up a really good major league reliever. Like Biggie is going to be a really good major league reliever based off every single stat you can look at. Now, obviously, injury stuff are always risks, but if he's healthy, he's going to be a back end of the bullpen reliever and he's 6 years of control. They gave up another prospect who I don't know, and then they gave up Morel, who I think honestly he's going to go about it in a different way, but it's probably going to put up somewhat similar production to Paredes in the long run. Like similar, not too
Yeah.
far off. It was a weird move. It was one of
Yeah.
those like the Cubs did a thing that they definitely should have done, which is if they were gonna buy for the future and not worry about this year. But like you did it while giving up a young bat. I don't really understand.
Does it sort of make you think that maybe Christopher Moore? I don't want to put this out there like as a
People love
fact.
him, is what I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
love
but
him.
you wonder if he wore his welcome out with
I
somebody
don't
and
think so.
the wrong
People love him.
person. Like we've seen it here in St. Louis. Like
No,
it,
from
it
what I
takes
heard
pissing
from
off one person.
Justin Steele does a podcast, and from what I saw a clip of it, from what I gathered, he's very well liked inside Chicago.
Okay, I just wondered, like when
Also,
you see
really good friends
that,
with Ferris.
we talked a little bit about the Astros getting Kikuchi. I think it's a good move for them. I think they gave up
I
a
hate.
hell
I
of a
don't.
lot.
I think it's a really bad move.
I think it's fine. Like it adds
Dude, what are they
adds depth. They're
doing?
trying to win the
No,
West. I get it.
dude, he's not good. He's not very good. Like Kikuchi has this thing where he has some really nice pitches. He'll have outings where he's good, but he's just not good. He's the most fine pitcher I've ever watched. Like just fine.
Um,
Like what's he good
that's
at?
I'm
He's
not.
not
I'm
good at
just
limiting
saying,
runs.
right?
Like and
Uh,
here's the thing: like they bought a guy. Like the package they gave up is like not even
yes,
close.
we talked about that earlier. Yeah,
I know, but like the Dodgers got Jack Flaherty for nothing.
right.
Like what? Astros didn't call them about Jack Flaherty? I don't understand. I
Um,
don't get it.
Shout out to Paul DeYoung for getting traded out of the team that makes you now do mandatory like holes and burpees and blames the players. What the fuck is going? We don't have to go deep into that, but I would love to get some White Sox guy on here at some point and just say what the fuck is happening in
One of
Chicago in
my
the
best
South
friends
Side.
at school is a massive White Sox fan, and he doesn't know what's going on either. Pedro Grifol needs to be fired.
Gone now, like
I,
immediately
I don't
gone.
advocate for people losing jobs because I think most of the time it's in bad taste. But dude, do you even want your job anymore? Like, what have
Yeah.
you done? Has he done one pos? I'd like to know. Like, I would love to talk to like some player that's been in that clubhouse the last 2 years, like even Lance Lynn, right? And be like, did he do one positive thing for you or anyone while he was there? Like, I don't
Worst
think the answer is
optics in
yes.
front of a camera, him or Ron Washington.
Do- Ron Washington's a very well respected baseball man.
Yeah, he's
I
great
don't
with but
understand. I don't understand why he keeps saying stupid shit.
the dumbest. I don't
Like
get it.
like like Mike Trout. But don't you ever? I have heard that offends me because I love Mike Trout so much. Don't talk trash on Mike Trout ever. He's the only good thing about your entire stupid little franchise. Secondly, earlier this year he threw what's the kid's name under the bus against the Cardinals. Who was it? Oh, Luis Guillorme. He threw him under
Yeah,
the bus because
Guillorme.
he missed a safety squeeze. This
Yeah.
is 2024, and he threw him under, like this guy. I'm assuming there's more too. Like he
Oh, I guarantee it. If
like
you were to
Ron
go
Washington.
through the
I
Rolodex,
I think Ron Washington's a genuinely great baseball coach. I
yes,
don't think he's a good manager.
we agree 100%. Nelson Cruz was in right field. Let's just remember that.
Yeah. Who was the agent that day? I'd love to go back and look. Was it Lee? Was it Derek
Or
Lee?
it might have been Napoli.
No, he was catching.
Oh, well then, yeah, I don't know.
I would love to go back and look. Like, there's no way whoever was Michael Young was playing first base. It was very weird. I don't know what he
My
was.
point was in the ninth inning,
I
Nelson Cruz
know,
was
but
still in
even
right
then,
field.
like,
That's
why
all I'm
was he
saying.
ever? I
That's
would.
all I'm saying. Like,
I know, but I
you're
would love to
winning.
go back and look to see who the Rangers had DHing and how bad that guy
By
wasn't.
the way, thank you, Ron. Thank you, Ron.
Yeah. Also, that's such a. I feel bad for Nelson Cruz. That was a tough play. Like, that was
Well,
not
I'm
easy.
not mad at
If
anything
he
there,
makes that
except that
catch,
that's hilarious.
he makes that catch, people are like, wow, what a great catch. Like that's
A couple questions that I've kind of seen, like, what the fuck are the Angels doing, by the way? Why is Luis Garcia and Tyler Anderson still on their team?
Luis
Why are
Garcia got
half their
traded.
players still on their team?
Luis Garcia got traded.
Oh, he didn't. Okay, I missed
Red
that one.
Sox. Red Sox.
Okay, missed that one.
Um, Tyler Anderson, hilarious. Like this is the funniest thing that happened this deadline was the fact that they had a chance to bottle up this mediocre pitcher that had the luckiest first half of all time, based off every metric I've seen, to have a 2 point whatever ERA he was at, and ship him out and fleece some team, similar to what the Blue Jays did for Kikuchi, who didn't even have a good first half, but I digress. You can send him out and bring in a haul of prospects and be like, laugh at them and point and laugh and say, haha, he's going to suck for you for a year and a half. And they kept him. And they're like,
Yeah.
no, he's going to suck for them for a year and a half. I don't understand. Like, who's making
Also,
decisions there? Perry
also,
Manassian is still him?
who?
Perry Manassian, he's still their guy?
Yeah, he's still their guy.
How is he still there?
I don't know. The other two teams that I'm shocked. What the fuck are the Rockies doing? Like, what are you doing in Colorado, bro? Like, and
This team.
also to be fair, whoever the GM in Detroit is should probably also be fired because he tried to slow play and long play Jack Flaherty and then panicked at the end of the
We
button.
don't know though. Like one of those guys could end up being good. But yeah, I mean, on the surface,
That's true. That is
on the
100% true.
surface though, like on the surface, yeah, it
Yes.
looks like a bad deal. I will say.
And the
Same with Chris
Rockies, dude.
Stetson and the White
What are the Rockies like?
So
What are you
so
about?
so I heard Trevor Plouffe say this is gonna all encompass all these bad organizations we're talking about right now. He said that he has been told by a lot of people in front offices, good front offices, so probably like Dodgers, like well-respected front offices that are actually really good at what they do, that 95% of the front office in this league are not as smart as fans think they are. Like they
I'm
genuinely
not
don't know
surprised
what they're
by that
doing.
at all.
And I think it's true. Like I don't think it's easy to do the things that like Mo does, right? With Tommy Edman. That's not an easy thing to put together and figure out the logistics of money wise, ownership wise, all that. So there's a lot of work, but I don't think these guys are as good at their jobs as we like to think they are because there's only
Yeah.
30 of them.
There you
Like I
go.
don't think
There's
they
your
are.
in.
Like there's a lot of like there's so many moves. You're like on the surface, this is stupid. And then it goes exactly how everyone thinks it's gonna go, and it is stupid. And then everyone's like, and the guy that made the decision is like, oh well, I don't know. I just made like I thought I had to do something. It's like, well, why? Like, why is Eloy Jimenez an Oriole? Stupid.
Right.
Why would you bring that guy into your clubhouse? There is
Yeah.
not. It makes.
I
And I say this, and now he's gonna win World Series MVP maybe. But like on the surface, that deal looks like it's just like a waste of an asset that you just gave up.
yeah. I was surprised by that one as
Also, the
well.
Trevor
So
Rogers deal.
do you know what I miss? I miss the waiver deal when you could 2 weeks later still
I
make a
always hated that
trade. I
because
miss it because it
it's
gave
not
me 10
actually the
more
trade
days
deadline.
of trades.
Yeah, but it's like not actually the trade deadline. It was always so dumb. Just make the trade deadline. The trade deadline.
No, I understand it. I do think they
Doesn't
ought to
work.
push it back a week.
At least probably two. At least.
Maybe, yeah.
Week four, I
August
mean.
15th probably makes more sense.
Yeah, like I
August
think
10th,
honestly, like let's say the Rangers lose 7 of their next 10, right? And then we got they're trading their guys,
right.
right? At August 15th. They didn't. They should have. I would have a $10 bet on this that the Rangers aren't gonna win the West. And I'm pretty confident that I'm gonna end up winning that.
Also, I'm not surprised, but really it's sad that the Pirates didn't make any more
I kind of
significant
like
moves
the
than they
moves they
did.
made, though. Like I
Well, they
like
get
Isaiah Connor Falefa and I like Brian De La Cruz a lot. I think those are good moves.
they're fine.
I'd like they're not difference making moves, but they are marginal enough upgrades to where it could give them a couple wins here and there.
And shout out to the A's. We won't call them the Oakland A's, the Sacramento A's, or the Vegas A's, but just the A's for hanging on to Mason Miller and Brent Rooker, even though they probably should have traded Brent Rooker.
And then they traded Lucas Erceg, who has 6 years of control left.
We have no idea what
I
they're
just
doing
don't know
either.
what's going on.
Yeah,
And they
I
got Paul
know.
Blackburn 2 years too late. I don't know what they're doing.
No,
Whatever.
they don't either, to be fair. Well, let's get out of here. We've been here too long. Anything else before we go?
No. Okay,
All right. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We greatly appreciate you. If you're on Spotify or Apple, hit that follow button or subscribe or whatever they have on there. We're really trying to figure all that out right now, and it's been a whole thing. If you're on YouTube, if you could hit that subscribe button, that would be fantastic. Those numbers are going up. We appreciate you all. Tell a friend, watch a lot of Cardinal baseball, and we will see you soon. Go Cards.